Hey guys, it's Alex, and yeah, I'm making one of these videos. So if a lot of you guys follow my channel, you know that the Fairmont back at Texas 2K was experiencing some weird issues. Like on launch, it would go up. I don't know what the hell was going on. I'm like, what is going on with this car? I thought I had it licked. I thought it was a fuel line, but then there's a track rental going on this Friday, and I wanted to go. So I took the Fairmont out to shake it down to see what's going on, and guess what? It started doing the exact same thing that it was doing at Texas 2K. So I'm like, what the heck's going on? So I did a bunch of tests to see what's going on. Is it the injector? Is it the blower? Is it the bypass? Is it the MAF sensor? So as I was done doing a watt pull, that felt amazing. Now when you roll into the throttle on this car, you're good. When you go watt, like a hard stab, for whatever reason it wigs out. So after one of those long rolls that felt really good, 150 mile an hour or so, felt real nice, I heard a bunch of crunching noises, and I'm like, So I suspect the blower locked up, because it sounded like a blower rotating noise. It didn't sound like the bottom end. So I am here on Beeline Boulevard in West Palm Beach. Yes, not Mexico. West Palm Beach on Beeline Boulevard, waiting a tow truck. Tows R Us hooking me up. Travis Lewis and Skyler own that company. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to be that guy that gives you a video that something broke, to chronicle what happened, how to know what broke, how to test what broke. So I'm going to get it back home, and the first thing I'm going to do is pull the belt off of the blower and see if the car starts. And at least I'll know, okay, the engine's okay. If it is not okay, then we'll have to rebuild it and see what I have to do. If it is actually the blower that, got jacked up, then I'll send it back to Edelbrock and have them rebuild it. And hopefully I can put it back in the car and continue diagnosing what the issue is with the car. We'll see if Edelbrock takes care of me on that. I'm willing to pay. I'm not looking to get anything for free. So we'll see. Let the tow truck show up, get it back home, pull the belt off, and cross my fingers that the car starts, because right now it doesn't start. Check it out. It just goes like clunk, 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 and I'm not going to do it too much because I don't want to stress out the starter, but take a listen. Yep, so C does not want to start. So I'm hoping it's just the blower locked up and not the engine. So we'll see how that goes, and now I'm waiting for the tow truck to get here. Called him about 10 minutes ago. He said it was about 15 minutes away, so we'll see what happens. So I'm here on the side of the road. What the fuck? A beautiful Cadillac just says, fuck it, I'm driving home on the wheel. Fuck it. Wow. Oh my God, it stinks so bad. There's my guy right there. Tows R Us, give him a little plug. Beautiful. See how this goes. I'm like 3 miles away from the house, so shouldn't be that bad. Alrighty, I'm actually one of those guys that gives a shit as to where they hook it. This guy was super cool. He's like, yeah, no, I know where to grab it. Grabbed it by the K-member, thick spot. We're good. Let's get it home and see what the hell's wrong with this thing. Wipe the lens. Okay, so the reason I towed it all the way back home, and now I'm going to take the belt off, is because I couldn't drive it long if I do take the belt off 3 miles away. Why? Because this thing runs everything. It runs the water pump, it runs the alternator, it runs everything. Other superchargers run the rear sheath. Well, this one runs the front. So what I want to make sure that I do is remove the blower belt completely and see if the car starts, because right now it does not start. So I'm hoping the blower is locked up, and then if that's the case, send it out, get it rebuilt, and then hopefully the engine's okay. So we'll see how that. Okay, belt is off, and just as suspected, blower is locked up, which is good. That means the engine is okay and it needs a rebuild. So we have to see why it locked up, what caused it to lock up, and get it fixed. Hopefully Edelbrock can get it fixed up in a timely fashion, but let's see if she starts up without issue. Hopefully the car starts. I'm pretty sure it'll start because the blower was locked up on it. I'm gonna pull it inside, maybe take the blower off today to see if there's any chunks or anything that went potentially into the engine, but let's get it inside and hopefully it starts up and it doesn't sound weird. Battery there because the alternator is not spinning because the belt is not on. So do I get froggy and take it apart tonight, or it'll give me something to do for the weekend? I'll wait. Now that I know the engine starts and it's just the blower that locked up, it'll be interesting to see if this is common on this TVS setup with the Edelbrock blower. I have no ties to this company, so if it's a case issue, I don't mind saying so. But as of now, this thing is locked up. Now, I don't think that's what was causing all of my issues, but we'll see. So maybe I'll end the video here and give you a teardown video separate, or just do it all in one. I haven't decided yet, so we'll see. Okay, I'll wipe the lens real quick. So what I have to do now is take apart the custom inlet that Jake and the guys at Power Bay Hour and I made. This guy, I probably should have designed it a little different, but I think it serves its purpose. What ended up happening is this guy, the hex ended up stripping out, so I have to go ahead and take it apart. Once I take it apart, I'll show you why and how everything came to be on this Whipple throttle body that connects to a E-Force supercharger. So let me try to get this off. Once I get this off, I'm gonna flip this and look underneath and see if there's any metal that came, out of here, because if the rotor seized up, see, the nice thing about these rotor, this setup is, if anything was to happen, the rotors are spinning upwards and then the air comes down. So air comes in, rotors up, then out. So if anything fails, you're hoping this intercooler area will catch any potential issues or shards flying out of the sucker and not get into the motor. I covered up the motor. Once I took out the supercharger, I'll go ahead and open it up, inspect it, make sure it's happy, and then I'm going to probably look for some wiring that could be touching, excuse me, or potentially causing issues, because I still have that stuttering problem. That's the whole reason I went to test this car before the blower seized up. I already called Edelbrock. They're awesome. They're like, hey, they sent me an RMA, a little form to fill out. I'm going to ship it to them, and once they get it in, they're going to report to me, what the deal is, what they find. If there's additional cost to get it rebuilt, I'll do that. Once it comes back, though, it's going to go right to Greg Kong up in Pennsylvania and have him port it, because it's already out. Last thing I want to do is get it back, put it in, then take it out again and send it out to get ported. I'd rather be like, hey, fix it, all right? It spins good, send it to Greg. Greg will port it, hog it out, give me another 80 rear wheel horsepower, so out of some porting, and then put it back in. Hopefully find any kind of wiring issue that might be causing my stuttering here back here, chase it all back, you know, whatever, and then go from there. Little pro tip in case you ever come across this issue, because in the millwright field you have to think of ways of getting stuff done. So this guy was stripped, and I have limited room to get a socket and easy out or some kind of extracting tool in there. So I thought to myself, well, if I can rotate the whole piece off, that might work. So I took the 3 bolts out that were able to come out, and then hit it with a soft blow hammer, and I was able to move it. So I'm gonna just keep rotating this piece until the bolt comes out. Okay, finally apart. So get a better look at this guy right here, the little inlet that we ended up devising up at PBH, because what we at the time, any VMP throttle body that was bolting up to the current TVS was just not working. It was fail-safing left and right. So we said, well, what's one throttle body that is not prone to fail-safing? This guy right here, the Whipple 132, the trusty 132, and the 150 if you mount it properly. It's pretty legit. So that's what I did on the red car, and that's what I did here. So what we did was we used the existing Edelbrock adapter for basically a 103 millimeter throttle body. Okay, this is the adapter for the 103. We got basically a big aluminum pipe. See, it is aluminum. We welded it to this guy. Now, since this guy is out, I'm gonna do some work to it because it is not gasket matched or port matched to this setup. So what I'm gonna do is take this all apart and just smooth out that area, because it might become turbulent when you go wide open. Look how clean and beautiful that throttle body. I love this Whipple throttle body. It's been my favorite throttle body of all time. I'm gonna clean this up, make it all nice and round, basically, you know, no deviations like that, because that adapter used to belong on a TVS bolt pattern. You know how it's more on the oval side? So this guy is going to be oval, but I'm going to open it up a little bit. So get that guy out, hogged out, you know, basically smooth airflow in this, so it's not turbulent or anything like that. And it's going to stay coupled to the PMAS 149. So if you have, you know, any ideas like, hey, let me make a modular inlet or custom inlet for your Edelbrock setup or any supercharger, the car doesn't know what brand supercharger is on it. It doesn't care. It says airflow, throttle body data, and injector data. These are FIC 1650s. Fuel injector clinic, not fuel injector Bobo or any other type of place. Fuel injector clinic. So that's the plan, and this is what it looks like. Basically, I just painted it to make sure. Actually, Mikey ended up painting it just to keep it, you know, subdued look and not bare aluminum. So once that gets all done up, I'm going to port match that guy and go from there. Now let's flip the supercharger and see what's going on underneath, see if there's any kind of material that made its way past the intercooler down in there. And if that's the case, I gotta start looking in there for some of that stuff too. Well, good news, it looks clean underneath here. I don't see any issues. You can see the IAT sensor. I don't know if you can see that in there, but there's an IAT sensor right there, this guy. And that's where it measures blower temps from after the intercooler. You can see the intercooler set up in there. And let me get a light on it so you can see it a little better. Perfect, look at that. So, zoom in, beautiful. So I don't see any chunks that came out of the intercooler. You can see the FIC 1650 little nozzle. You can kind of see what's going on in there. So there's nothing apparent, nothing that stands out that tells me something made its way through the intercooler. So now I'm gonna go look in the inlet and see what's going on with the rotors after I take the injectors out. Okay, bolts loose on the rails. Hopefully these guys come out easy. I don't know, I haven't taken them out in forever. They basically bolt down here and here, and just the pressure of that kind of hold everything in place. Oh yeah, this might take two hands, so I might have to I might have to drop the camera. Let me do that real quick. Okay, so that's how the rail looks on the Edelbrock setup. Right there. Actually, is the flash still on? Yeah, the flash is off now. So basically, you can do a true return setup on this guy. Okay, you can definitely, you know, make it a true return, but I am deadheading it here, and it's been fine. The log doesn't show anything funky. It looks pretty happy, so I'm deadheading my fuel system. Basically, it comes in off of the regulator, feed, and it deadheads at the back. So some people say, oh, you shouldn't do that. I honestly, it's been like that from the red car with the TVS setup. This car, 3 years plus at 900 plus wheel, it hasn't been an issue. Okay, so here are the injectors. Now these are Fuel Injector Clinic. Okay, they I'll be honest, I'll be upfront, they do sponsor me, but I don't run them because they sponsor me. I run these because they work. Okay, I mean, they're pretty darn legit. Now, you can't really identify them. A lot of people say, well, I have FICDs. Now, underneath the spacer, hello, underneath the spacer, I gotta drop the camera again. Fuck it, I'll drop it quick. Open it up. Wow, that O-ring is in there. Oh yeah, listen to that. Wow, that is in there. I'm hoping to see if I can pull one of these guys apart so we can identify them. In case you do need to identify them. You can't identify them just by the spacer. So let me cut real quick, pull one of these guys off and see if there's an identify mark underneath the spacer. Alrighty, under the spacer, right there, 1650 cc. That's the only way to know. If you're gonna be like, hey Alex, I got this injector, I'm gonna say, cool story. Hey Alex, I got this injector. You know, they do that shit. Oh, cool. Bosch body part number. Awesome. You need to be like, I got this injector. Ah, now we're talking. Okay, well, I'm no expert, but that looks like bearing failure to me because the damage is like a thrust damage, meaning I think, just by my very layman opinion, that the damage was caused by bearing failure because it looks like it's rubbing back towards me. You see those very clean marks. So basically this guy does not turn at all, so I think bearing failure or something in along those lines. Now, have I seen this before? Yes, I have seen it before, but hopefully Edelbrock takes a look at this, if it has a fix, or you know, they can say, hey, this is what happened. I don't see any foreign material right here, but it definitely looks round down. If a foreign object got in there, you would have thought it would have done it right away, but it happened at the end of a wide open throttle pull and it just bit the ghost. So I'm going to go ahead and take this pulley off of it, the 2625 11 rib, like ZR1 pulley from Kong. Okay, it's a Kong performance pulley. Take this guy off, take the water hose off, and I'm going to go ahead and ship it to them. No rails, no gaskets, and go ahead and ship it to them. And we should be hearing from them about a couple of weeks. Hopefully they'll get it probably in 5 days, and I'll hear from them in a couple of weeks and see what the deal is. In the meantime, I don't know, I'm gonna mess around with the Fairmont. I might throw a stupid intake on it or something just for the heck of it, and just to be able to drive it and see if I can mimic those stuttering conditions, you know, see if there's anything I can find. So I'll get underneath and look for wires or everything, but just wanted to chronicle what's going on. Edelbrock has already sent me an RMA, like I said. Basically, you know, fill out this form, ship it to this address, and basically all the prerequisites to get this guy rebuilt, because that's what's going to go on there. And once it gets rebuilt, it'll go right to Greg Kong, right here, Kong Performance. It'll go right to him. We'll get it ported, and I'm not putting this blower back on until it is ported by him, so we can make another 90 or so rear wheel horsepower. Hopefully I can find the needle in the haystack as to what was causing the stuttering by looking in the back by the cam sensor, see if there's anything going on. Because what did I replace between the last time and this time? Motor mounts. So I did lift the engine up slightly, put the motor mounts in it. I want to make sure I'm not pinching any wire underneath. I'm going to make sure that I look behind the motor, make sure that no wires are kinked, broken, or open, so that when the car launches, it hits metal or a grounding issue that could be causing the stuttering, because it only happens at wide open throttle on a launch. It never happens just steady state cruising. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. You know, I want to make sure that I'm up front. The blower locked up, but Edelbrock, they're going to hopefully take care of it. And I'll let you know what happens when I know, when I hear from them. So hopefully they'll be able to take care of it. So let's take this blower pulley off, get it shipped, and that'll end it. Okay, that'll do it. So hopefully I hear some good news back from Edelbrock about the blower, that, you know, maybe they're going to cover it, but I'm not opposed to paying if a foreign object got in there, but really don't see that happening. I'm real careful as to how everything mounts, and I'll report back as to what they say, so that in case you have an issue like that, you can at least know what to do, and you can at least kind of see what I went through and know what to expect, cost, or just correspondence back and forth, and see how they take care of the situation. So be on the lookout for those reports or those videos, and then I'll see if I can find anything back here, and if there's anything interesting to find that might cause the issue, make a video on that and report back to you guys. But once I get it back, it should be a ported version. Take it right to the dyno, make a watt hit, see how much above. I think this car highest it ever dynoed was like 890. I'll pull up the graph, do a comparison, and then we'll go from there and see how the car acts and if the stumble's taken care of, and I can get this car into the 850s, 840s without too much effort. Hopefully that'll be the case. Thanks for listening, guys. Look out for some more videos and my Talking Shit Tuesday live stream every Tuesday, 8:15. Thanks for listening. Talk to you later.